Hi, this is Bryant with a quick bonus episode for you. This is some audio that I recorded on the Denver Trolley, which is sort of a tourist attraction in downtown Denver by the river. It runs about a mile-long track, and this is sort of the spiel that the guide gave over the PA system, just pointing out some landmarks in Denver. Hope you enjoy it. I tried to get some of the harsher sounds out of here with a little bit of filtering, but there's still plenty of weird little train sounds that you get with an electric trolley. And we'll have a regular episode for you next week. Bye.
4 days. Yeah, okay. We get the right up. Yeah, so no, we're not business. By that lovely couple right back there, they can be back in. Anyway, that diesel engine is what powers 4 electrical generators. So this actually runs by electricity. The electricity generator being powered by electricity.
Back in the day, would they have a?
Yeah, many of them have the overhang electrical lines.
Okay.
Yeah, the carriages up there.
That'd be strange.
So I don't think this is.
If you swallow them, they turn into
The REI building used to be the main power plant for all the trolleys. There were like 250 trolleys
Okay.
in Denver at one time. Yeah, so then it was a trolley, then it was a railroad museum, and maybe 15 years ago or 20 years ago,
I have to put a new logo on it.
and over it into REI.
You know, they have
Well, I heard back there, all aboard. So on the count of 3, let's give him a big all aboard. 1, 2, 3. All aboard! Confluence Park. Confluence is a fancy word for 2 bodies of water that come together. South Platte River and Cherry Creek. This is where Denver began. 1850s, people started gathering here because of a 4-letter word. What was that 4-letter word? Gold. Yeah. Gold was found here near here in about 1858. A couple of tent cities grew up here, and those miners had that claim. But at the end of the winter, when winter set in, there were no facilities here. It really wasn't a very hospitable place. So they went back east, where there were more services. A man named James Larimer jumped their claim, and he started a little city. And he was a political animal. He thought, I'll get some political favors by naming it after the territorial governor of Kansas. Kansas? What's that got to do with us? Well, at that time, this part of Colorado was part of the Kansas Territory. So he named it Denver, after James Denver, territorial governor of Kansas. What he didn't know is Denver was no longer the territorial governor. And as a matter of fact, he came here twice. He didn't like it. He moved on to California. We're coming up here to the Denver Aquarium. How about, anybody getting off here? Okay, in the back, all right. I'll come back and pull that gate up for you. Denver Aquarium. You hear me? Okay. Great place. Yep. Great place to spend an afternoon. It's owned by Landry's, so there is a nice restaurant in there. They also have a very unique attraction. 2 Sumatran tigers. Those are extinct. Near extinct. There's only like 400 left in the country, in the world. And we have 2 of them here. Sumatran tigers have webbed feet, and they love to swim. That's why they're here at the aquarium. You notice along the track, chokecherry, rabbit bush, cat o' nine tails, cottonwood trees. These were all replaced by Denver Greenway Foundation after the dams were built, Cherry Creek and Chatfield Dam. There were bad floods in here, buddy. 1965, got a kayaker out there. 1965, we had a flood. Water would have been up to about my chin. So after that, the Corps of Army Engineers built the 2 dams, and Denver Greenway Foundation replaced all the native plants in here. Up here was the site of the largest brewery west of Mississippi. Other than Steve, anybody know the answer of who that is? Well, somebody's got to guess Coors. No. It was Zang Brewery. Zang was bigger than Coors until Prohibition. Zang Brewery decided they were going to make ice cream. Can you imagine in the 1920s what refrigeration was like? They went out of business. Coors made ceramics and malt beverages. So they survived. As a matter of fact, they still make ceramics and malt beverages today. We're coming up here to the Children's Museum, a great place to spend the afternoon. I understand they take donations to children, but I hear if you leave one, you got to take one so you're no further ahead. Anybody getting off here? Nope.
See that, guys?
Okay, we'll wait just a minute and see if anybody starts down. So the Children's Museum actually started in a school bus, a couple of teachers, then they moved into this building, and about 3 years ago they built this new addition, $17 million. I see some of you looking across the river. That is the Elidge Gardens. It started in 1891. John and Mary Elidge started as a botanic garden. They started adding a little zoo, some rides, first movie theater, first ballroom. 1995, they moved over here. When they moved over, they brought about 15 of the rides over. One of the main ones is this white roller coaster. But when they moved from there over to here, the roller coaster didn't quite fit. They had to make it a little bit smaller. So this is Mr. Twister 2. It is a wooden roller coaster. It gets a little shaky when you're riding. Anybody here from out of state? Oh, okay. If you were from out of state, I would say when your football team comes to get beat by the Denver Broncos, this is where they come. This is Bronco Stadium. It's now got another name, Empowerment Field, but for most of us, it's always going to be Mile High Stadium. We run the trolley from Memorial Day up through August 15th. I don't know if we're going to do a trick-or-treat street, I hope. That'd be nice. But we also run it for every Broncos home game. So you can get on the trolley down by REI, park down there where it's reasonably cheap. Ride the trolley, round-trip fare, $7. Get off here at the Broncos, $10. We went up this year. First time in about 6 years I've been doing this that we raised the price. But you know what the price of diesel is. So, $10 round trip. Get off at the Bronco Bridge here. Walk across the parking lot and you're in the Bronco Stadium. Have a few beers, come out, and I want to drive right away. Get back on the trolley. Breeze off on the way back. It's a little breezy in December, January. This is I-25 Bridge. Also known as the Valley Highway. That's a fairly new bridge. It was just rebuilt a few years ago. It used to be a little iffy going under there. I always held my breath. Just past the Comcast building here in the south parking lot was a small community called Brooklyn. Brooklyn was primarily a Jewish community, so people in Denver liked it because you couldn't buy beer in Denver on Sunday, but you could here. Now the Broncos play. You can still buy beer here on Sundays, at least during the season. There's a great little restaurant underneath on the other side there called Brooklyn's. And it used to be the fish market back then, but now it's a restaurant. Great food. We usually hold our annual meeting there. One of the people who grew up here, very famous, and not necessarily right here in Brooklyn, but here on near East High School, was Golda Meir, the 4th Prime Minister of Israel. She lived here for a couple of years, went to school here. Now we're going to stop just on the other side of the Colfax Viaduct here, and primarily because we're running out of track, so that's a good reason to stop. The other thing is we have to turn the trolley around. Got some strong-looking young men here on the trolley, right? It's only 18 tons. Or we can do it the way we've done it for 100 years. Get this family to move over to this chair. Guys, move over to this side. Got it? And Steve's going to go along. He's going to flip the seats over. The other Steve's helping him here. Got it? Notice, kids, we can do this without having an app on our phone or anything. When you get turned around, look up under the edge of the bridge. Right under the edge of the bridge, you'll see those little nests up there.
You guys have to look out. You gotta
look out the side, look up. Under the edge of the bridge, you see that nest. You'll see some birds flying in and out.
Either side.
Those are cliff swallows.
You can see them on the left here, too.
Cliff swallows. They come up here from Argentina in the summertime. We like them because, as opposed to most of the visitors to Colorado, they eat their weight in bugs every day. The other thing is, they come back to the same nest. And we wondered, how do they know what nest to come back? Well, Steve got his ladder out, looked up underneath there, and sure enough, little house numbers. Okay, the jokes don't get any better. You also notice something else unusual. We're going north. Look at the river. The river is flowing north. The South Platte River is one of the few rivers that flows from south to north. It flows from here up to Nebraska, joins up with the North Platte, becomes the Platte River, flows over to the Missouri River, over the Mississippi River down to the Gulf of Mexico. Jump in the water here in about 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks, you'd be down in the Gulf of Mexico. Look up at the stadium. The bottom where it says Empowerment Field, you see the white horse. That horse is modeled after Roy Rogers' horse Trigger. He said you could use Trigger as a model, you just can't call it Trigger. So the horse is Bucko the Bronco. Bucko the Bronco was on the original Mile High Field. When they built the new stadium, they brought him over here. Now the horse that runs on the field after touchdowns is called Thunder. After we go under the Valley Highway here, look off to your right and back, and you should be able to catch a glimpse of the top of the Colorado Capitol building. It is a gold dome, that is pure gold on top of that Capitol. I happen to be lucky enough to work at the Capitol when they refurbished the top. And they brought in the hunk of gold silver ore that they were going to bring a knocks on the road here. There's Capitol. And it looks like a lot of gold, but it's actually only about 64 ounces of gold. The piece of ore that they brought in weighed about 70 pounds. And I was one of the lucky ones that got the hold. Yeah, this is a good sized rock. It's partly silver and partly gold. They have to mine the gold out of it. And that gold does come from here in Colorado. It came from the Victor and Cripple Creek mine. On the other side of the track, some of you saw the train going by over there. That used to be the side, before it was Elitch's, the side of the Rice Railroad Yard. When I first came out here in 1965, it was nothing but train tracks from the river all the way down to downtown. This track here used to be a bypass for the rail yard. And then when the railroad abandoned it, Denver took over and they allow us to run the trolley on here. Now we're going to stop up here. Look off to your left and down. You can see about the middle of the trolley. See the stump down here?
See down here, guys?
So, young people,
Stand up. See it?
what kind of animal do you think took down that tree?
What do you think ate it? What? Yeah, look at this. See it? The beaver?
Justin Beaver? Oh, just a beaver. Just a beaver. Yeah, beavers chew the trees. When they fall over, they just basically take the upper limbs off the trees. But beavers have to chew constantly. If they don't, their teeth will continue to grow and they won't be able to eat. So they have to chew all the time. So when we find beavers down here, Denver Parks and Rec, take those beavers and relocate them up to the headwater of the South Platte River. Denver also puts wire mesh around some of the trees to keep the beavers from chewing on them. We don't stop on the way going north at Children's or the aquarium. If you got on there, we'll take you all the way down to REI and then bring you back.
On the way back.
On the way back. So look up and to your left after we pass these trees. You'll see a couple of red brick buildings up there. One has a gable roof and some chimneys on top. That was the brewmeister's house for his own brewery. The short two-story red brick building in front of the aquarium was where the Teamsters would stay. That's all that's left from Zhang's Brewery.
Look at about 2 o'clock, guys. Those old buildings up there. Yeah. We'll see you in a second. One flat roof and one.
Boy, these trees are getting so big, it's making it harder to see.
There they are. You can see it right there. Oh, sorry, that was 11 o'clock. I can't even have that.
That was more like 11:15.
Yeah, you're right. Right, bro.
Okay, this area around here has been settled for hundreds of years. Native American Indians would come down here. They'd hunt, fish, prepare for the winter. Then the trappers would come down here and they would meet up with buyers from Oregon and the East Coast. They'd trade their beaver furs and other animals and have a big old party. Now it's a gathering place for young and old from Denver. Come down here to picnic, ride your bicycles, kayak down the river, have a good time. The trolley is owned and operated by the Denver Railway Heritage Society. We are a not-for-profit volunteer organization, so we're all volunteers that are working here. Some of us work here because we're nuts about Denver history, some because we're nuts about trains and trolleys, some because we're just nuts. But anybody, we're always looking for new members. If you'd like to come down and spend your Sunday or Saturday afternoon with us, learn to drive the trolley, we are always looking for new members. The fares that you paid for your ticket pays for the upkeep and the diesel fuel that runs the generator, that runs the trolley. We do have some capital improvement projects we're looking to do. We'd like to electrify this line. We'd also like to find a permanent structure to put the trolley in the wintertime. If you'd like to make a donation, there are fare boxes on either end of the trolley. Anything you put in there is greatly appreciated. On behalf of Steve, our members over in the tent, and myself, we'd like to thank you for spending your Sunday afternoon riding with us. Have a great afternoon.